All right, happy Thursday, everyone. Let's get into it. Let's get into this. I'll tell you what, it is honestly my favorite time of the day when I'm on the charts. Like, I've worked, I've gymmed, and I thoroughly look forward to this. So yeah, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start with gold, rightly so. I do have this alert here, which is kind of just like more so for me to showcase myself that gold is slightly pushing a bit closer to EQ. That's the only reason why I have this. And as a matter of fact, I will actually just leave this there for now. In terms of POIs, probably is some demand here. That most likely is. Perfect. Okay. Not as clean as I initially thought it was going to be. So I'm looking for a more refined POI. Kind of have to use this as extreme liquidity. I don't really have a clean extreme demand POI as per se, but this extreme liquidity is good enough for me. Maybe there's some demand there, but it's not. I'm not really too interested in. Yeah. Yeah, this is it really. There's not much more to do from here. Other than let's expect if we can get a nice distribution up here, I wouldn't mind that. You know, a local distribution which we can then short into this extreme liquidity, which we can then long back up into the completion of this range. That's like ultimate pre-planning right there. And as a matter of fact, I will actually chart it up should it happen. Perfect. All right. We'll leave that as is. Yeah, this is it for gold. Not much more I'm really interested in. We have broken structure 2 bullish on the hourly, which is something we should be aware of. And we are still bearish on the 2 hourly because there's no valid 6 candle in here. We've got an inside bar candle here, and then we have another inside bar candle here. So our 2 hour market structure high remains to be up here. Bullish on the 4 hour. Yeah, that's fine because there's broken structure there, and then this is our 4 hour low right here. So yeah, everything remains the same for for gold. Let's move on. Silver, no longer interested in this. We have grabbed we have grabbed extreme liquidity, and this might be a valid entry. Let's have a look. Hourly. However, yeah, hourly is still bearish. We're still quite bearish, and there's still quite a bit of liquidity here. So I'm just trying to see what market structure has been broken. We've broken 30-minute right there. So 30-minute market structure has been broken to bullish. However, you can see the next candle after was what you don't want, and we've had a immediate move back down after break. It was a nice break of structure, like it was a clear break of structure, but then the following candle has moved straight back down, which is not something that we necessarily like. We never broke structure back down, which isn't a bad thing. We've also respected whatever demand was in here. Then we respected this as well. We just have liquidity here, which is... I'm not going to use this as liquidity because this is actually mitigated. Actually, no, I can use this as liquidity, my bad, because the previous candles have mitigated the demand. So this is, technically speaking, valid liquidity, which I kind of think will get swept. So I will see what happens post sweep of liquidity here, and then maybe I will consider longing depending on how we react to this. But it's still not the worst potential accumulation model here. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that as is, to be honest. I guess the plan here for me is, yeah, simply just wait and see how we react here. As you can see, on the 15-minute, we have broken back to bearish, which we have not broken back to bullish yet. So there's no real reason to be longing at the moment. On the 30-minute, we've broken to bullish, and yeah, this is still our 30-minute market structure low. Yeah, let's just be patient and see what happens here. Then I will also set an alert up here. So that is silver for now. And as a matter of fact, I will draw a little range here. Just for my own little benefit. Yeah, that is it for now, so we will see what happens. Let's have a look at oil. Okay, I'm seeing a semi-decent accumulation model here. Does this align with our macro context? I will double check. We're definitely still bullish on the hourly. Sorry, no, we're probably bearish on the hourly. I do apologize, we're still bullish on the hourly. So this is actually really, really pro context, honestly. And I think I briefly spoke about a similar setup to this on some recent video that I've done. Just aligning the context here, how it would be nice to see a local accumulation. We are in a higher time frame accumulation model, so are we going to go higher here? I'm not sure if we necessarily will, but I mean, if we get the confirmation, then we get the confirmation. So and this is a decent looking confirmation. Not decent looking confirmation, decent looking setup. If I am to be honest, I think that this might just be valid. This could be honestly a really nice setup, which I will kind of confidently take. If Asia highs are also intact here, then man, this is a 1%. This is a 1% setup, if you'd ask me. Like, you've got supply here, which has been mitigated over there. Voila. Beautiful, beautiful liquidity up here. Asia high. Asia low has been taken. This is honestly pretty decent. Pretty decent. Yeah, most important thing here is now just a quality break of structure. We had some like non-official distribution here. But yeah, I will monitor this and see how we pull into this demand. Other than that, everything remains bullish for oil across the board, really. On the 4 hour, yeah, like we can't just break structure here on everything. So like, yes, we are in a higher time frame potential accumulation, but we have created a lower time frame potential accumulation. But if this confirms, then we can take this. Yeah. So we will see what happens here, and we'll see how price mitigates this demand. Awesome. Let's move on to AUD against the Canadian dollar. Well, this is pretty much invalidated. Yeah, we moved way too long already. Let's have a look. 3 days, 21 hours. Okay. I stand very much corrected. 3 days, 21 hours is, yeah, technically Saturday, 6th of June. And that's also with the weekend. Yeah. So yeah, this is 3 days, 21 hours with the weekend, and we are now at 2 days, almost, yeah, pretty much 2 days without the weekend break. So we can allow ourselves essentially up to Saturday morning, Saturday 6 a.m. I'll put a little. This is pretty much until when this remains valid. Saturday 6 a.m. There you go. Boom. So yeah, we can still come up and sweep this extreme liquidity and then break structure. And as much as this looks like it's a further tap away, like visually, it's not technically speaking, it's not, or factually speaking, it's not, because it's a lower time duration than between tap 1 and 2. So this is the plan here. Yeah, we've also got extreme liquidity there. Like so far so good. I'm not upset about anything here. We are bearish now. I just want to point that out on the hourly. We were bullish and we officially changed to a bearish sentiment this morning. Yeah, let's have a look what the 4 hour is saying. 4 hour does for now just remain bullish. Yeah, 4 hour does remain bullish. Let's see what the 2 hour is saying. 2 hours technically also bullish. So yeah, just the hourly is bearish and everything else remains bullish. So yeah, kind of semi-aligning with our distributive context here. So we will see what happens. Not much more to do now. GBP JPY has pulled back in. And honestly, I'm kind of happy to start like sizing in. Technically speaking, we have broken structure, so I don't like that. So looking at hourly market structure, I believe we're now no longer bearish on the hourly because bearish. Bearish, bullish. So we are now officially bullish on the hourly. Yeah, hourly is bullish, which doesn't necessarily align with this, but yeah, I'm gonna stick to my strategy, and I will be waiting for a local distribution model to enter here. If you did enter here, then obviously, if you did de-risk here, then this break of structure, what I would have done is essentially this break of structure right here. We're in the 30 minute. This break of structure right here, that would be my sign to essentially take profit, because you've broken structure quite nicely on the hourly. You've gotten that follow through candle, like that's it, get out. You've made your money here, leave. So now I'm only going to be looking for a local model to essentially continue trading from a distribution perspective. Would there be any other POIs here for a retracement? Not necessarily. Honestly, not necessarily. However, everything else does remain bearish outside of that hourly, so including the 2 hour. We stay bearish on the 2 hour. I'm just trying to see if there's like any POIs up like around here. Not a whole lot. So I'm not really to be completely honest, I don't really know how high price is going to go. Like there sort of is liquidity here. I can definitely use this as extreme liquidity. I can. So yeah, this is kind of like what, if I was to think of a reversal point, I would kind of think here. But it's already so close to that, you know, to that high, that mitigated supply. So yeah, honestly, we'll just really see what price decides to do. But from a re-entry perspective, then I'm going to be looking for an accumulation, for local distribution around here. Yeah. All right. Next, I will check Euro USD just because the alerts have gone off. I have a feeling that we kind of already accumulated here. There was definitely some extreme demand here, which seems like it got mitigated. Nice. Not the cleanest move, like pretty aggressive push down into demand. Was this on a session open? It was on a session open, so you can use this as manipulation. This is actually really clean manipulation, although the Asia high has already been taken. So it's not the most valid, but it is. Yeah, when you see this happen on a session open, especially like cleanly respect this demand as it does here, and then pushes up, and yeah, you can quite clearly see that is a market maker stepping in and shaking out potential buyers that, you know, bought maybe like up here, and then they get stopped out because they would have probably put their stop losses under here, and then yeah, respect demand and then push price back up into its desired direction. If I was to get any sort of re-entry opportunity on this, I would wait for a mitigation upon this demand right here, and that's it. That is literally it. Which can happen because we have pushed into supply. As of now, this is our tab 1. That's our Wyckoff high. This is our tab 2. This is our tab 3. We might get maybe, it'd be nice if we do get an extended tab 4, and then we can long that. You can put your stops here. There's no more reason for price to go lower. If it's going to go lower, it will probably clear this. And even that alone, given supply has been mitigated, which is slowly getting there, even something like this alone would give you still a quite nice 3.58 risk reward up until TP. So that is our pre-planning here. Yeah, that is Euro USD, so we'll leave that as is. Obviously, session highs have been taken. We are now pushing into supply. So we will see what happens. All right, leave that as is. We'll move Euro USD up. Euro NZD is next. We've obviously had this. We've obviously had this failed distribution, which we have journaled. However, lo and behold, we're now seeing another one present itself. Man, this pair's just dishing out distribution models which are failing. Boom. Asia lows at range low. That's a nice confluence. Asia low at range low is always a nice confluence. I'm trying to see if you guys can like see me. There we go. All right. There probably is some extreme liquidity right here. It's not the cleanest because it's so close to our tap 1, or our technically our tap 2, our first deviation. But it is extreme liquidity. Like, the rules are the rules. We don't push the rules. We don't bend the rules. The rules are the rules, and that is something I encourage every single trader to fucking drill in your head, guys. The rules are rules. Stick to them. No if, buts, or maybes. Yeah. We'll see what happens there. If this liquidity can get taken out. I don't mind the return to zone here. It's not the worst, not the best. So we will see. I'll put an alert there just in case. And I've got an alert here as well just in case. I'm trying to figure out where on earth my... yeah, like, I feel like we do look bearish for now on these higher time frames. I just need to figure out where this is gone. I'll have to I'll probably delete it. It's not the first time it's happened. It's not going to be the last, that's for sure. Yeah, weekly is clearly bearish here. Is it? Hold on a minute. No, it's not. What am I? Weekly is bullish. Daily. I would confidently say the daily is bearish. This is our daily low, which is crazy, and we have just broken that. So we're also in heavy supply here, meaning that we could actually be in a decent spot for a we could be in a decent spot for a reversal. So that distribution could be decent. And I also feel like Euro USD has done something. We will quickly check back on it. Let me just quickly finish this. Daily is bearish. That's fine. 4 hourly might be bullish. No, still bearish, no market structure here, so we are still bearish on the 4 hour. So this kind of does align with this is obviously just overlapping supply to overlapping supply to overlapping supply. So we're kind of in the right to distribute here, where we've mitigated heaps of supply. I'm just going to get rid of some of this because we don't really need it, and it can be a little bit distracting. So yeah, I can expect us to go lower. Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens if we hit that extreme liquidity. Now, Euro USD has just mitigated supply. Okay, nice. Now, ideally, it starts moving back down, but we'll see what happens there. Yeah, that is Euro. NZD. GBP AUD. This is obviously no longer of any interest to us. On the weekly, we are, yeah, still bearish. Daily is bearish. Yeah. Unless, you know what, I was actually right here. Daily is bullish. That's pretty funny. Good pickup on from myself. And yeah, obviously we haven't broken back to bearish thus far. For our for ours actually bullish because this is valid market structure. So quite bullish across the board here. TBF. Man, I am gonna sleep so well tonight. I had a shocking sleep last night. And I just know, you know when you just know you're gonna sleep well? Like you just know it? Man, I just know it. I will have such a beautiful, beautiful sleep. Yeah, not a whole lot to do here, to be honest with you all. Like this whole high time frame range is still at play. It really is. As much as we have kind of mitigated partial demand here, I do think that I do like to think that, or I would like to see that we mitigate this a little bit deeper. But technically speaking, it is confirmed just because we've done that. Like it is confirmed, and the wick's really, really nice. Assuming that this is confirmed and we're not going to get a pullback into here, we can look for retracements. So one is right here. Keep an eye on this demand right there. And then yeah, we also have more refined demand below. And other than that, just be patient. Maybe we are distributing out. Maybe. Not the cleanest. Not a fan of this. So I will not chart it. Yeah, other than that, like we're still pretty bullish. We are still pretty bullish, so just be aware of that. but we are bullish enough where we can allow ourselves a local accumulation here, mitigating the demand, and then we can long this. We can put our stops below here and just let this run, and obviously de-risk as soon as our range high gets hit. So yeah, let's move on. This range has completed itself technically. Yeah, it has. Not really interested in anything else here. This is a confirmed model 1 essentially, so just be mindful of that. Yeah, I do like to draw this, which kind of symbolizes to me that you're within a confirmed model. Same thing to whichever one we had earlier, like I think, yeah, same thing to GBP, JPY. The fact that we're pushing back up, I'm not just gonna like short for the sake of shorting because we know this is gonna give me a nice RR. I'm gonna wait for a local model to present itself. That's really it. Let's see what silver is doing. All right, I'll quickly go back to CHF JPY. Interesting. Obviously, we've left behind some form of demand here. That is quite evident. All right, and then yeah, for CHF JPY, sort of similar. We are leaving behind demand. Okay, gold is also doing something. Well, the commodities are moving, that's for sure. Okay, we know. Gold, talk to me. Similar story. Now we just want to see price come back in, range for a little bit, leave behind those liquidity POIs, come up, sweep them, and then move down. Simple, right? You'd think. Yeah, I'm going to give this more time, and then I will check this at the end. GBP, yeah, we've done CHF JPY. Nothing else that we should really be doing here. Same thing, we're in a pro-distributive environment here, so just be mindful of that. I don't like how he front ran this high. Like it, I really do not like it, but it is what it is. And then we have also left demand below, so that's also something to be mindful of. Yeah, I'm gonna need us to come up and eventually sweep this high. And then obviously I'll put my alerts as well just to let me know if this model becomes invalid. Or the range becomes invalid more so. Hourly. Confidently going to say we're bullish on the hourly. We are probably still... actually we might be still bearish on the 4 hour because unless there's no market structure in here... And there isn't, so yeah, it would still be bearish across the board. So this distribution, technically speaking, favors us. Because as much as the 1 hour is bullish, like everything else is still bearish. So we can expect pullbacks. Yeah, that's it for now. Not much more to do for GBP and ZD. USD CAD, this is now invalid. We're obviously still bullish. Are we bearish on the 4 hour? Really? This can't be right. Oh yeah, probably because of this. Even so, we've kind of only just broken it. Yeah, like last night. That's fair enough. Yeah, I'm bullish on the 4 hour. What more can I say? We're bullish on the 2 hour and we're leaving behind demand as well. Just an FYI there. There might even be some overlapping demand. I have a feeling. Yeah, we're leaving behind clear demand, showing clear signs of strength. Ooh, has the 2 hour gone to bearish? No, it's still bullish. By still bullish, I mean it's bullish like the other 1 to 4 hour, which I've just looked at daily. Maybe have we switched to bullish on the daily? Okay, no. No, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We might soon be bullish on the daily. But yeah, not a whole lot for me to look at here. Yeah. Not a whole lot. Let's move on to the next USD JPY. I feel like we've already spoken about this. Kind of just curious to see if we come up into this supply. That's really all I'm monitoring, nothing else. We are also leaving behind somewhat of a buy side liquidity below. So we'll see what happens there. So we'll see what happens here. I'm honestly just gonna leave this as is. There's not much more for me to do at the moment. If like optimal scenario is that we get a very local distribution model of mitigating the supply, that would be very clean, but not much is happening at the moment. Did I do the... Well, that's useful. Okay, weekly. Weekly we are... Okay, we're actually bullish because we've broken structure there. Bullish structure is broken there. We're actually bullish on the weekly, which remains. On the daily, we might have been bearish just from whatever's happened in here. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, bearish on the daily. And I have a feeling those 4 to 1 hours might actually be bullish. It's actually pretty similar. Yep, bearish. 4 hour. I have a feeling there would be some structure in there. Yes, there is. So we've broken that to bullish. Two hour is bullish. Yeah, fairly bullish here. Still playing the patience game here, and waiting to see should we get a mitigation of this supply. Euro GBP. Hourly is probably bullish now. It is. 4 hourly might also be bullish now. Okay, this close is going to be important. So for now it remains bearish. However, hourly was bullish, and then daily's probably bearish still. Yep. And then weekly would still be bearish. Yes. Yeah, like we're in a pro distributive context here, but there's honestly not a whole lot to work with this pair, so I'm just going to leave it as is. That's also a thing, guys, and I say it time and time again, you don't want to be forcing anything. Like, if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. Don't try force a setup. Yeah, we're bullish because we've broken structure there. We're still technically bullish on the 4 hour. Are we? No. No, it's still bearish, so that's fine. Look to, and that's also something I'm still working on. Look to the left of the chart, like just keep looking to the left of the chart. Daily is, yes, bearish. Yeah, not a whole lot going on here. Same story. Not much. NZDCAD, not a lot's going on here. We remain bullish, but as I said, not a whole lot's going on, so don't try and make something out of nothing. USD, CHF. There's a reason these pairs are at the bottom, because not a whole lot's happening. Okay, hourly is clearly bearish now. Four-hour is still bullish for now. We'll see what happens here, but daily, weekly is obviously bearish. In terms of the daily, I'm just going to draw structure to make it look easy. Bam, bam, bam. Boom. Yes. So the structure break is in there. For anyone that's curious, it's actually here. This is the structure. Okay, no. So that is not a daily break. So we are still bearish on the daily. That's correct. So we've SFP'd the daily. I will a few SFPs here. Perfect. Yeah, but there's just no local distribution forming here. So, unless, and I stand corrected, and there might actually be, you know what, there might actually be a setup here. Right here. I allow this. I seriously allow this. Context is aligning for now. Hourly is bearish. For hourly is obviously bullish. It's just recently broken structure. Yeah, if we can get a nice pullback, by all means short it. By all means short it. That's fine. Alright, we'll see what happens here. Move this up into the ranks. AD USD. We've definitely ripped through this demand and even mitigated the one below it. So yeah, we have overlapping supply. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we mitigate this supply. I'm just going to leave this as is. We have broken structure to bullish on the hourly. Probably not on the 4 hour, no. We're actually bearish on the 4 hour. And then daily and weekly probably remain bullish. So yeah, the accumulation that we're kind of drawing here is semi-pro context. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that as is. I'm not really gonna move it up. Well, everything here's been invalidated. We're definitely not bullish on the hourly, I'll tell you that much. What about the 4 hourly? Okay, we're still bullish on the 4 hourly, so we're just bearish on the hourly. That's fine. Is there anything here to look at? Nothing really worth mentioning. There is an hourly OBI here, which is going to get some, which is most likely going to get a decent reaction just because there is, because the demand's sweet stuff to our left. However, we have left supply loss. All right. Yeah, that's it for today, guys, for Forex. I will upload a crypto video shortly. I think it's just easier if I do these videos separately because they're too long and people don't necessarily have the attention span these days to stay through one of these. But yeah, to quickly run through everything, yeah, that's still on. Still on, looking for extreme liquidity up there. Still on, looking for a pullback here. Should it happen, we're ripping through. The more I look at this, the more I don't think we're gonna come down, but we'll see. I'll put an alert there just in case. Euro NZD. I do feel like some of these pairs might confirm later on. Not a fan of this at the moment. Yeah, not a fan of what's going on here. Similar story. Not much. Yeah. And then we had, this is no longer of interest to me. We have ripped through. Yeah, it's not really liquidity, this, to be honest. It just isn't. Silver's still kind of at play for now, so we'll see what happens here. Just as I said that this has started to pump, so might have second guessed myself. And then oil, definitely not. This is definitely no longer at play. Ripped through demand. It's ripped through everything, really. Is the hourly still bullish? Surely not. Well, depending on how we close, the hourly's soon going to be bearish, so yeah, 12 minutes we'll find out. Easy. That's it for today, guys. Tune into my crypto update shortly, and yeah, have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your days and rest of your day, and I will catch you all soon. Peace.